Yes. Hello. I'm starting Self-Care Saturday. This is Maureen. Um, Hopefully I'm doing this right. I do have a new phone. Comment below if you can hear and see me, and if anyone's out there in the Hopeful Widows closed group. I'm hoping you are. I'll give people a few minutes to come on board. Uh, we're doing Self-Care Saturday. I want to talk a little bit about self-soothing exercises and self-care in general and everything, and announcements with Hopeful Widows. So if people are there, hey, someone's there. Can you hear me? Am I coming through clearly, whoever that's there? Okay. Hi. I'll wait for people to come on. Um, This is Self-Care Saturday, and we're going to talk briefly about self-soothing exercises. And there we go. I don't see that there's anyone here. Am I missing something? Make sure my phone is up and that everyone can hear me. Hey, someone, if you're there, and whoever that is, I can't see who it is, but if you can announce yourself, and so I can say hello, and I want to make sure that you can hear and see me. I know you can see me, but can you hear me? Can you? Or just make a comment or say hello? Okay, there are two people here. Okay, can you guys hear, and can you hear me? Because I didn't want to start and make sure that I'm coming through clearly. Sometimes I have technical difficulties. And if you could comment that you can hear me. Okay. Hi. This is Maureen. I'm one of the administrators with here in the closed group for Hopeful Widows. And I am going to be talking about briefly, this is Self-Care Saturday. Hey, I'm sorry if I'm not saying hello to people, because I see people are here, but I cannot see the name of who you are. So, hello. Anyway, we have been doing self-care through grief throughout the month of September. We've been having a great time doing that. And every day in the month of September, we have been posting information on how our Hope Sisters can take care of themselves, okay? Because we need to do that oftentimes, most of the time, when you experience tragedies like those everyone in here has, the first thing that goes is care of yourself, because the grief takes you under, the wave of grief takes you under, and so you really don't know what to do, and you are really trying to survive and not drown, basically. But it gets to a point where you do have to start thinking about your life and what to do to take care of yourself. And so we came up with Self-Care September, self-care through grief. And that's very hard to think about, because a lot of times you don't even, you're not thinking that way, but it gets to a point where you do have to think that way, because some of us are taking care of children. Some of us, we have to take care of ourselves and move forward. And so that's why we came up with it. So I wanted to talk about, and I'm hoping someone's out there can see this. I wanted to talk about we came up, when we did the month, we came up with, okay, let's talk about Self-Care Saturday. Let's have a Self-Care Saturday to just go over in more detail some of the topics that we talked about. So I thought today would be a great time to have self-soothing exercising. And if you can see me, or if you can press the heart or something, because I'm not sure if anyone is hearing me. Basically. Okay. And before I started, I wanted to give a few announcement of Hopeful Widows. We're in October. We're going to have another giveaway, so stay tuned for the announcement of that. Well, I'm announcing it now, but there'll be a posting on tomorrow about actually what the giveaway is about. It's going to require you to do some thinking, and it's going to a little bit of work. It won't be too hard, but we're thinking it's going to be fall based, and so stay tuned for that. And we have a lot of different activities and initiatives that we're always planning, and we have things coming up, and we just ask ladies to the Hope Sisters to stay tuned for everything that I'm sorry, my youngest one is in the background, and if you have the little ones, you know how it is. But anyway, stay tuned for announcements of other programs and activities that we are planning for the group. Again, my name's Maureen. Maureen Bobo. I am one of the administrators with Hopeful Widows Closed Group for Women Only. And let me tell you a little bit about myself. You see me around. I post things. I was the one who was posting about the self-care through grief. Okay, in 2010, my husband Martin passed away of chronic heart disease suddenly. He was 45 years old. At the time, our children were aged 8 years old and 2 months old, both girls. And, well, my world got knocked off its axis. I didn't know it was left was right, up was down. It was, as all of you guys out there understand, your world changes, your whole life changes. And so then I'm face down on the floor coming from that. And what do? Okay. You're there. You're like, wow. If it wasn't happening to you, and everyone out there understands what I'm talking about. If it wasn't happening to you, you would be like, I'm watching this on TV. I thought it was a Lifetime movie, but I was the main character. And so that's how I started my journey through the loss of my husband. And when I'm here with Hopeful Widows, I just am at a point, because it's 7.5 years later, where we have ladies who come in here who lost their husband last week, or 6 months ago, or 2 weeks ago. So we just want to, I like to look at it as a beacon to let them know that, yes, this is the worst thing that can happen to a person, but here we are to help you through the journey, okay? Because we're on the same path. And so people are at different levels and in different places along the widow's, they call it widow's walk. I don't call it that, but the journey. And so we just want to help people get to a better place, I guess, because it's so difficult. And everything hurts when this is going on, and it's so much that goes on beyond just loss of a spouse. You got to get along with family and you got your in-laws, and some people had to move, and then you got half of your income, and then people don't know how to treat you, and then they ignore you, and then they say really, really, really mean things to you, and you have all kinds of different feelings going on. So it's good to be in a setting like this where people understand and you can have your feelings validated. Okay. So I'll start so that's just a little blurb about me. Also, people may not know that myself, Maureen Bobo, Khadijah Ali, and Chastity Williams are the executive directors of Hopeful Widows Foundation. Hopeful Widows is actually a 501c3 foundation. You can find us at hopefulwidows.org, because it's more than just a Facebook group and a Facebook fan page. And so we, like I was saying earlier, we like to plan initiatives, and we like to plan activities and programs to help peer-to-peer support, basically, to help ladies who are dealing with the tragedy of a loss of a spouse or a loved one, and a partner. And so this is what we do. So I would encourage people to go to Hopeful Widows, www.hopefulwidows.org. some of the things that we're doing. We're having meetups. And if you're interested in being a facilitator for a meetup, you can email us at hopefulwidows@gmail.com. That's hopefulwidows@gmail.com. If you're interested in the process to becoming a facilitator, we have I'm not even going to name all the different things we've done or are doing. We had a 5K. We have the Pen Pal initiative, in which ladies can write each other and send each other birthday cards on their birthday, their loved ones' birthday, anniversaries, and anniversaries. And the ladies really, the list is constantly growing, and the ladies really enjoy that. And so if you're interested in being on the Pen Pal initiative, you can do that. We have like almost monthly giveaways. Right now we're trying to do every month we're trying to do a different themes just to keep everybody engaged and focused on something positive, because we understand it's so hard out here. And so it's hard to focus on things positive when you're going through such negative things going on in your life. Because like I said before, the loss of the spouse, that's one thing. That's the worst thing. But it's always an aftermath. I call it the impact. And then there's the aftermath of everything. And that's sometimes even worse than the impact, because you have to deal with the rest of life. So we do understand that. Okay. I'll get into the self-soothing. Self-soothing is something that people who have experienced traumatic events can do to help manage emotions, help anxiety, help depression, and just help themselves through the process of the trauma. Okay. And it's just to ease. It's a coping mechanism. It's just to help them ease the pain of what they're going through. So I wanted to talk about that, and if anyone has any other suggestions of how they self-soothe, or if they had any questions, they can definitely ask me. I don't have all the answers. I definitely don't, but I can, try to get answers, or just from my own personal experience. So one of the things that when you self-soothe, it's just, and we want to do positive things to self-soothe. There's a lot of self-soothing out there. And a lot of times when tragedy hits, you want to go to the easiest thing. And a lot of the easiest things to do are unhealthy for us. Sometimes people have developed different addictions to substances or things like that, based on trying to ease the pain and cope with what's going on. It happens quite often with those of us who have lost loved ones, lost spouses. And so what we want to try to do is help people develop positive self-soothing. And if you guys have something that maybe I don't mention, I'm not mentioning a lot, just a few things that I wrote down that have helped me, please feel free to write here and suggest other things, Okay. One of the things that is like the easiest things to do when you're at the height of emotion, the whole thing is to bring, and I don't want to sound technical because sometimes I do, but when you're at the highest, the height of your anxiety or the height of whatever's going on with you, usually what's going on is the heart rate, the heart palpitations are at the all-time high. That's a lot of anxiety. Sometimes people's anxiety has gone even into panic attacks. What we want to do is bring the heart rate down and to make it in a more relaxed state, because it's very difficult to function and make decisions and manage things when we're at the height of our anxiety and our heart rate is really up there. So one of the things you want to do is bring that down, because you can't be anxious and relaxed at the same time. It's like oil and water. One is way up, one is down. We want to bring it down because we can think clearer and make decisions better. So one of the things that I do, deep breathing. And you heard of it. Everyone breathes because everyone's alive. And That sounded kind of funny to me, but anyway, deep breathing. Okay. You can do it your own way, and it sounds self-explanatory, but it's really not, because when you're deep breathing, it's deep breathing. I would say a person has to get alone and just you have to focus on it. You can say, hey, I'm going into another room. I feel myself becoming anxious, or I feel my heart rate is going up because of what's going on or what has happened to me. And so basically what you're doing is you're going in through the nose and out through the mouth in a way that's slow. Okay, a lot of people just want to, and okay, that may start it, but you do have to get to a point where you're breathing in and you're then breathing out. I'll do it briefly. Even slower than that. You do it as many times as you need to, and you're just, I won't give a number because everyone's different, but 5 to 6 times you're breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, in through the nose and out through the mouth, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And so then it's bringing your heart rate down. So that's one. And if anyone had any questions or other suggestions, they can go right ahead. Another thing that I have is guided imagery. And sometimes people already do this, but they don't know what it's called. Guided imagery is basically where you're creating, hello, if you can hear me, could you please comment hello or hi? I'm not sure if people are picking up on this, but I'm keeping going. I'm on guided imagery. We're doing self-soothing exercises. Guided imagery is you picturing yourself where you want to be. What would be a positive place? It can be something simple or it can be elaborate. You do want to have some specifics in it. Hey, Khadijah, can you hear me? Because I'm not sure if people can, but I'm hoping they can. Anyway, I'm on self-soothing exercises. Guided imagery is you're picturing a place in your head where you want to be. Hey there, Jean. Nice. Thank you for commenting. And we're doing self-soothing exercises. One of the things with guided imagery is, hi. Okay, thank you, Khadijah. I am clear. One of the things with guided imagery is that you picture yourself where you want to be, because basically where you want to be, you want to focus intently on, and you want to put a lot of emotion into that, because you're bringing that to you. The more you focus on it, the more you bring to you. And when you're going through grief and you lost that loved one, it's kind of a cloudy place, because people are often in a place where they don't know where they want to be. Sometimes they don't even want to move from the spot where they're at, because they believe that moving from that spot means leaving things, leaving basically the person that they lost. And you're not leaving them, because you can't, because they're always going to be in your heart. But it's hard to get to that point, especially when you're early on in the loss. And so, but you have to focus on where you want to be. Now for me, it's a beach in Hawaii, but it may not be that for everybody. I have not ever been to Hawaii, and I know someday in life I will. And my guided imagery is like a waterfall and just all the beautiful pictures and flowers that I see on TV and the internet and books all my life from Hawaii. And so I just can focus intently on that place. Now, for other people, it may be something simple. Somebody may focus on a camping trip. Somebody may focus on just, sometimes it's just, a stress-free day. Or somebody may focus on just talking to a friend or whatever, going for a cup of coffee. It could be anything, but you have to focus intently on it and put emotion into it and take time, and you settle yourself down. And this is soothing. It's soothing to focus on something positive. A quote, it could be an image. A lot of different quotes out here that people have. Scripture. People have scripture that they read or favorite verses that they have, and they can go over in their head. That could be considered guided imagery also. And if anyone had questions, you can ask. And if you have something in regard to one of the self-soothing exercises that I've mentioned, please feel free. Anyway, that was self-soothing. Okay, so like for me, I'm sitting here. I'm okay. It's almost October in Ohio, but I'm focused on my trip to someday to Hawaii, walking on the beach. It's like 80 degrees, the clearest of water, the bluest of sky, the beautiful flowers and lotus blossoms and orchids and the beautiful people and the beautiful music and the beautiful language. Did you guys see Moana? It was just, it took me away. I don't know, some of you may not remember the commercial, Calgon, Take Me Away. That's me. Hawaii, take me away. And so you can do that and just, it can help you, and I've done it. I'm proof of it. It can help you feel a little better, and sometimes a lot better. Just have that focus. It's all about how you're focused. So that's guided imagery. The next one, positive self-talk. Okay, this, along with deep breathing, may be the easiest one, because a lot of times when, right, Khadijah, thank you. A lot of times, most of the time, when these, especially at the point of impact, when you've lost your spouse, you cannot think positive. Okay, you can't think of anything positive. And it's true, I know. And this goes on for a while. Negativity I was, what's the word I'm looking for? Affected with negative thinking for many years. I'm going to say years and years after the loss of my spouse, because I just couldn't see any positive in my life. Okay. And so that's a very dangerous place to be, because negative thoughts constantly going on in your mind will only lead to negative things. They say, as a man or a woman thinketh, so goes he or she. That is so very true, because a lot of negative things were happening in my life after that. You create your world, basically. You create your world. And so, right. Khadijah. My middle name was Anger. Okay, I was angry. And I was just at the world, at people, at God, at myself, at my spouse for passing, at my kids, at life. Okay, that anger ate me up inside. Okay, I just could not. Okay, I could not get past it. And I did a lot of prayer. Okay, I had people praying for me, but it just took me staying faithful to the process of my healing is what it is. All of this is staying faithful to the process of your healing, because it's not going to happen tomorrow, and it's not going to happen next week. I always say this. I call it God's processing plant. You're being processed, and the processing plant is getting to you, to your purpose. And that's another video, I think. But when these tragic things happen, you're not thinking like that. And so I'm here, and we're here. Khadijah is doing Widow Wednesdays, and Chastity is here, and we're here to let people know that healing does happen, but I'm letting you know that it's a process. Okay. Anyway, okay, the positive self-talk, some of my positive, sometimes people, you can do it, or just do it. And if that's what works for you, that's fine. I tell people that when you're doing positive self-talk, talk to yourself like you talk. Just don't do a cliche slogan or anything like that. What's my positive self-talk? Sometimes you got this, or this, D-I-S, you got this, or, it's going to be okay. Sometimes, right. Sometimes, thank you, Khadijah, for posting. Sometimes it's like, whatever, how you talk to yourself, because you want to have a pattern of positive. You want to have options to choose from, maybe 4 or 5 or even 6 different statements that you say about yourself. If things are going bad and you're having a rough day, maybe at work or the kids or the home, or you just feeling some kind of way, as they say, It's like how you got to recognize it, and then you got to say, well, how am I getting out of this? Okay, how am I getting out of this? I don't like. I'm at a point, and it took me a while to get here. When I'm in that funk, and I know I'm in it, and I'm analyzing my feelings, I'm like, listen, I don't like feeling that this way. Sometimes it's hard to get out because the negativity is a constant cycle in your head because you're so used to it. When when the tragedy hits, it's like you got fear, you got anger, you got all kinds of things going on. You're tired, you cannot sleep. And Khadijah, I believe, is going to be talking about sleeplessness on her Widow Wednesday that's coming up. But it's like, was it this Wednesday, Khadijah, that you were talking about that, or something like that? But I can relate to that because 7.5 years later, I still do not have. I have, I'll just say, erratic sleep patterns. Okay, I don't know. I know the way I'm sleeping is not healthy. So it's something that I need to work on. And I know a lot of widows do need to work on that. It just comes with the territory, and you want to get better. You don't want to be stuck. You want to grow, but it's hard. And so we're here to say that, well, you're not by yourself. For one, you're not alone. And Khadijah's going to be talking about sleeplessness on October 4th at 8:30, Facebook Live in this group. She and I are doing the Facebook Live. She's doing on Widow Wednesday. I'm doing Self-Care Saturday because we just want to connect with the Hope Sisters and help them to focus and just give them some ideas to help themselves and all. And just, it's for connection also. Anyway, as I got off, positive self-talk. Does anyone out there have anything that they say to themselves? What do you particularly say to yourself that's positive, that can help you? And if you don't have a phrase or anything, that's fine. This is a place of learning, and this is a place where you can say, hey, what can I do? What can I say to myself? I talked about I got this. You've been through a lot. One of mine is if something is hard and I'm feeling like it's hard in my life, and not to be funny, but to me it is now, but back when I first started saying this like 5 years ago to myself, well, you buried a grown man with your bare hands. And no, literally, I didn't dig the grave, but you did. You did. You buried the grown man with your heart, okay? Everybody out there, if you lost that loved one, that spouse, that partner, and if you haven't thought this way, you should. You buried a grown man with your bare hands. Okay, and so you can think of that. That's like the hardest thing, one of the hardest things in life to do. And so if you can do that, you're Superwoman. You're Wonder Woman. You basically can do anything because you've done like the hardest thing out there. And so I kind of think of it that way when I'm going through hard situations and feeling the way you feel. You ladies out there know what I'm talking about. You get all kinds of feelings. And so that's one of the things. This is me talking to them. Everybody ain't going to talk to themselves that way. I don't care if you take this phrase and just kind of think of it like that, but you can. But there's all kinds. What are there some other positive self-talk that people do for themselves? I don't know. The simplest one is I can do it. And this too will, a lot of people say this too will pass. There's a reason for this. What you're thinking of, what is the reason? Yeah, thank you, Khadijah. And so, anyway, that's that on this. If you have any other positive self-talk, the basic thing of positive self-talk is it needs to be positive, of course, and it needs to be the way you talk to yourself, how you flow in your mind, because I'm in my mind, and you don't want to be in my mind. Sometimes my mind is kind of like out there, and so you're in your mind, how you talk to yourself, not how these people out here talk to you. Maybe you got some mean people around. Maybe you got some people who don't appreciate you and don't value you. You want to validate yourself. Sometimes they say you got to encourage yourself. You got to validate yourself, okay? Because 7.5 years later, that's what I figured out I had to do. I had to work through that anger. I had to work through that guilt. I had to work through everything I had to work through to figure out that I got to validate myself, because you got to encourage yourself, because people are just not going to do that. Okay. And if you're trying to self-preserve yourself and grow, you got to do that. Okay. So if you have any, self-care, positive self-talk that you say to yourself to soothe your emotions, post them, because you sharing will help other people. Okay, so that was that one. Okay, tea time. I love tea. I love coffee. And I have my little tea right here. What is this? I've been kind of sipping on this throughout the day. And this is the water bottle. It holds cold. Get it at Walmart. It holds cold and hot. I love it. Because so I put my water in here, my lemon water that's cold. But I put my tea in here. I get like two. I gotta get some more, but always have at least two of these around the house because you can put hot and cold in here. This is some mint tea, and after this talk, I'm gonna get me some chamomile tea. The different type of teas, and so this self-soothing is sipping on tea. It's soothing. It's calming. You have all kinds of teas. And yeah, Khadijah, you can get one because Walmart in the little sections where in the plates and all, you just walk around, you'll find it. But these I love because they make sure it's the one that carries hot and cold. So you can have your water in here one day, and then the next time you can have your tea or coffee in here. I love it. Okay. Chai tea. I love the chai spice tea. My all-time favorite is mint lemon. Oh my goodness. I just love, and I put some honey in there or some special type of stevia sweetener in there. And it's whatever your taste is, it's just calming. And I just can't, I kind of do it. Do I do tea? And I don't do it daily, but I do it multiple times a week. I know that much. And like on Friday or Saturday nights or anything, I want to calm down or from a long day. What are some of the Hope Sisters' favorite teas? Khadijah asked. What are some of your favorite teas? Khadijah said chai tea. I love lemon mint tea. I like the Bigelow teas. Things like that, but chamomile tea, y'all, if that is something Khadijah mentioned on your sleeplessness, because for me, chamomile tea will knock me out. Okay, I love it. I just sip on it, and the next thing I know, I'm asleep. It's very, very soothing. Thank you. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your Tawana Jackson. Thank you for posting, because chamomile tea is the bomb. I found it by accident. I just saw it in the store one day. It was years ago. And I was like, what is this? Picked it up, loved it, never went back. I'm waiting, ginger, lemon, and chai. Okay, there you go. That sounds good. Have any of you guys ever been to Teavana in the mall? That's real tea lover. I've seen it and I've been in there, but I have not purchased yet. But I have to, because chamomile, lavender, and peppermint. I'm forgetting my peppermint. Well, the mint. My sister has a mint garden she has in her little area, and I pick straight from. Sometimes I pick straight from there. You take it home, wash it off. I throw it in here, put the hot water in and some lemon. There's my mint tea. She had a mint chocolate plant. She had a mint chocolate plant this year that was so different. Because, mint chocolate, people have mint chocolate ice cream and things like that. But, mint tea. And it's soothing. It's soothing. The all herbal teas. Okay, so that's why I put tea time on here. And then because I love talking to tea, and you can talk over your tea with a friend or anything like that. For me, I love it late at night and just sipping after the kids are settled down and gone to bed, and you're just thinking about things and just going over your day or what you have to do next week or tomorrow or nothing. You're just relaxing, because if nothing else, ladies, I know we need to be able to relax, and it's so hard to do that sometimes. Orange spice, Janice. There you go. I like to get, at the Christmas time and things, I get the multiple, which are the variety pack. If anybody, and so you get all the different teas and things like that. I just love it. And so, everything. I'm not thinking of all the. It's so many different flavors that you can have, but the biggest thing is, it's soothing. It's a soothing thing, and it's relaxing. That warmth going down your throat and into your stomach. It's just the whole process of it. And see, with me, I don't do I don't know what people do, but I got a tea kettle. I got to do it the old fashioned way. Sometimes people throw stuff in the microwave, and that's fine. But with me, the whole process, I got to warm the water out. The microwave is sitting right there, but no, for my tea, I gotta warm the water up, and I gotta get I use this, or sometimes I get them. I gotta see those little 6-ounce, 8-ounce little mugs that they sell in the store. I can't do that. I gotta get at least a 12-ounce big old mug that looks like a bowl, and I gotta put their orange spice. You drinking yours now, Khadijah? There you go. There you go. And so I got to get my tea in there, and it's a process, it's a routine and a pattern, and it makes just doing it. And I just love heating up the water and listening for the tea kettle to go off. It's just the whole thing of it takes time, and then I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's just really nice. And the mugs, I love mugs and I love tea kettles, and it's just the whole process, And so I do that. Anyone else out there have the teas and things that they like to soothe, or any other kind of, for me, it has to be a warm liquid. I love coffee, but coffee is not the soothing thing for me, because that's my daytime drink to get me going. And so to make sure I can wake up, but the tea settles me down, the coffee wakes me up. It's just a process. It's not for everybody, I know. It's not for everybody, but these are things that I do just to get through the day. These are some habits that I have. Anyway, so that's that tea time. Just post any teas that you like, and that give a suggestion. I just like them all, basically, but I do have my favorite, and my mint and my chamomile, and I like the spice and things like that, and the orange. I like those type. Next thing I have is that was all I had on really the self-soothing, but I just want to know if anyone else has anything that they do to self-soothe. You can post here, or just you're doing things. Everybody does something, but they may not label it as self-soothing. Janice says, okay, right. Some people can't have. I do decaffeinated myself. I can't even hardly handle caffeine. Yeah, the tea is very relaxing. Peach tea and cherry. I haven't had cherry. That sounds delicious. But I have had some peach. That is true. And and then I won't even go into the different honeys, because you can have all kinds of different. I'm here, up here in northeastern Ohio, and in Geauga County, they have they have maple that they put in tea. Okay, the tap is right on the tree. The tap they get, I don't know if other places do this, but the tap, you get the maple right off the maple tree. And so it has to be perfectly sweetened and all of that. Ice okay. Doris says she uses ice. Wow. See, I didn't know that. And Doris, how does that work? You chew it, or you suck on it, or how do you do that? Because I can see that, but I've never thought of doing that to self-soothe. Thank you for sharing that. That's really, really interesting. Wow, and it's something even to try, because you have ice around, and I just never thought of it as a self-soothing, but you can. Sometimes it's things orally, and I don't know if people thought about that, but chew it. Oh, okay, you chew it. Sometimes is it me? But I'm thinking a lot of times there's things that you kind of put in your mouth, and that's oral, that helps people, soothe people. And maybe my whole process of my tea right here and sipping and sucking on this, that's probably part of my soothing too. Just the oral part of it. I'm not a biologist or anything, but it's just some kind of that functioning that you're doing is helping, And so it's something to think about. It really is. Anybody else with some different things that they may not realize was self-soothing, but they're doing, And if you don't know, just think about it. And people don't have to post if they don't want to, but it's just something to think about. And so, some other things that you can do, I have on here. If anyone has anything else, uh, Doris, repetitiveness, I didn't understand what you said. The reparativeness. And I guess expound on that or explain that. But as I sip more on my tea, that is delicious. Out of all the ones that, for me right now, tea has got to be it. Did you mean, okay, I get you, Doris. Did you mean repetitiveness? Because it's a habit. It's just something we do to help ourselves. And the things you do that are helping yourself, this whole thing that we're going on this journey and this path, because it is a journey. And if you didn't realize that, I think most people, once they get on this journey, realize that it is a journey. After a while you do, because okay, the repeat motion and sound of the crunching interrupted. Okay, there you go, Doris. I love it. I love it. You're so right. You know, because that is helping you. It's helping you focus. It's a pattern, and it's helping you get through. Sometimes, and we do know, sometimes it's just instant by instant, moment by moment. They say day by day, but when you in this, sometimes things are going on. It's instant by instant, y'all. Instant by instant. You know? Okay, so I love that. It's just things, because we're doing things to get through the hard. And hard is not even the right word, because it's not defined. There's not a word to define what you go through when you lose your spouse. And so I'm just saying hard, difficult, but it's deeper than that. It's worse than that. But second by second. Yep. Khadijah, you get it. Everybody on here gets it. And so we're trying to help each other figure out, because you're breathing. Sometimes you're breathing in and out. And sometimes you don't want to breathe, but you're doing it. And you're still here when someone you love is gone. People's loves of their lives is gone. And so you have to make it through instant by instant, second by second. And so these self-soothing exercises, I hope, can give people an idea. Yeah, it's an effect. Thank you, Doris. It's an effect that shakes you to the core of your being. I would say knock your, an effect. I like you, whatever you said. I get it. It shakes you to the core of your being, and you wonder how you recover. And people sometimes will look at you, and I even had my own sister, maybe a few weeks ago. She doesn't know how I do it. She's been married almost 30 years. Her kids are grown, things like that. But I do. I don't know. I'm at a point now where I'm focused more on my purpose, and I know one of my purposes is to help others on my path, and so that's why I'm here, and that's why I believe I was placed in a position at Help for Widows and different things that I do to help widows, because that's one of my purposes. But that wasn't always what I thought. I wasn't always here. I was at the place where I'm moment by moment, instant by instant, didn't want to wake up type deal. You know, I soothe. People do different things, but my unhealthy soothing was eating and sleeping. I would sleep and I didn't want to wake up, but I told myself I didn't want to die. But what's the difference of not waking? I had to figure that out. What's the difference of not waking up and dying? Not much. You know, it's like, you know, what is it? And so that was the way, and I was kind of convinced myself, and I had to talk myself out of that, because I had children. I had an infant. I was breastfeeding, y'all. Okay, I was breastfeeding, and I had an 8-year-old, and I had to, and I really do believe if they hadn't have been in my life, I'm not sure if I'd be here. I'm just being honest. I'm real talk. This is all I'm saying. Anyway, as I end the video, I hope you got something, or just maybe sometimes it's just about thinking about things. If you don't have anything that you self-soothe, I talked about music. I love music. One of the things that I would do, I had different music. I like gospel music and things, and different types of music, jazz, slow, soothing things. It's Tawana, it's almost too much to take in and keep going on with everyday life and children, but somehow God grants me the grace every day, all day. Thank you, Tawana. I agree with that. Thank you for sharing that. That is true. That is true. And and it gets to a point where you're like, this happened to me. People don't understand unless they've been through it. We know that. Why? you know, I didn't always think this way, but I'm looking for reasons why. And I ask why? Why is this? Why, God? Why? Why is this happening to me? Why happened to especially my children? Because when you have children, especially when they're young and things like this happen, there's a lot of questions. My children don't have a daddy, and it's like they didn't do anything. I'm an adult, I'm not perfect, and I haven't been, still not perfect. But the babies. And so you're wondering things, and things start going in your head, and then your anger, your anger starts coming out. You're like, I'm just upset. And so this self-soothing, I hope, and the self-care that we're going to do, it's going to be like twice a month, and we're just going to have different topics that we're going to talk about, and people can interject. Real talk. Khadijah Flobo, keeping it real, trying to. Thank you for sharing and being here. Anyway, my music, you got your music, y'all. You have your music. CC Winans. I didn't want to go on. I had even planned how I was going to die, so thanks for the realness. Okay, and I'm so glad you're here, Doris. I'm so glad you didn't go through, because this basically, at the end of the day, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep people to go on, because people don't want to go on. We get it. We are in this group. We've been on this path. We felt these feelings ourselves. I felt them my own self, and so we understand. And we want to keep ladies here because you're needed. We love you, and you have a purpose. And sometimes people's identities, a lot of times ladies' identities are wrapped up in who their husband is, because you are as one. And so when he's not here, you're like, I don't have a reason to be in here. But that's not true, because if you didn't, you wouldn't still be here either. But at the point of impact, you don't understand that. So we want to help people. Peer-to-peer support is what we're about at Hopeful Widows. My camera is going kind of crazy. What am I doing? Okay. Peer-to-peer support. And as I wrap this up, I'm so glad I had a great time. I'm so glad you ladies were here. I hope you got something from it. I hope you were blessed by it. I just hope it encouraged you. It's all about inspiration, encouragement. And the last thing I have on stuff, a warm bubble bath, y'all. Get the kids to sleep. Get that, bath. You could put candles around the tub. Lavender. It's another Calgon. You are needed, Hope Sisters. Thank you, Khadijah. Definitely. I may have said it. I didn't say it, but that's what I meant. You are needed, Hope Sisters. We need you. I need you. Because everyone in here encourages me. When I read your posts of what you're doing, even the hard times and the great times, what's happening, it's very encouraging to me. Because that's what we're about. We're about support and encouraging other. We understand, we listen, we care. And so my last thing for self-soothing is that warm bubble bath. Get your hot tea sitting in the warm bubble bath. There you go. There you go. And that's a guided imagery too, because I'm feeling like doing that tonight. Because the warm water is soothing and is calming to you. And that's just, I'll end on that. Anyone have anything else, or I'm hoping, like I said, that you were encouraged and inspired by this. And if you think of other things, you can post and all. But I wanted to end with, just stay tuned for all the different things that we're going to be doing at Hopeful Widows. This month we do have a giveaway that we'll be announcing the logistics of it tomorrow, as we go into tomorrow is October. And it's going to require you to do a little bit of work, but not too much, and just to think, and just stay tuned for the different things that we want to do. to encourage you guys and just keep you focused on positive things. So again, I hope you enjoyed this and I've had a great time. I know I could get me talking. People say, "Oh, you quiet." No, I'm not quiet. But if you start me talking, it's almost like she won't shut up. Because I just want to encourage people and things. So I hope you had a good time. I'll end on this. Take something from it, but I always end on my videos. Yes, we do have another giveaway contest. Stay tuned for the announcement in the group tomorrow. I always end on, I love you, I love you, I love you. Be blessed. Mwah. Thank you, Khadijah.